This is Cultivate Your Signature, key number 8, pursue financial wellness. Financial wellness suggests that you must be financially sick in some area of your life, right? It could be credit cards, it could be the fact that you still have not created and sustained an emergency savings fund and you're now in your 40s, right? It may be hard for people to perceive certain things in their 20s because they think they are invincible. We all thought that we weren't going to die. But in our 40s, we begin to feel truly our mortality. And that's when we realize that, oh, we can actually die. And that to me is the time to uh, pull it together or give yourself another opportunity to do it right. If you look at your 40s and you see and you envision the retirement age of 65, and then you subtract, you realize that you have 25 more years to get it right, right, to pull this thing together. So if you didn't do what you were supposed to do in your 20s and your 30s, then you can now set your 40s to be of that mindset, because it's literally a hop, skip, and a jump from 50 to 60 to 70. I literally remember myself being 38, and then somehow I jumped to 48, and I'm 48 in this year, 2023. And so, when you're thinking about financial wellness, think about the financial freedom. Going and getting the lottery is not financial freedom because there's no learning process. All you're doing is essentially procrastinating the learning process you need in order to become financially stable, a great financial manager, financially well, financially free, anything like that, right? And so you still need the learning process. The learning process might include taking responsibility for those two to three outstanding bills and begin paying them down. Going through the process, keeping a financial journal, keeping something, keeping a task list, keeping it before you that this is something that you care about, that you need to begin working on. Because then, if you work on it, then you can also work on your credit score. You can work on rebuilding a relationship with that company, right? The credit card company. And then now you can reassess after you pay down those three and say, okay, I'm really not that much of a credit card person. I could care less. But there are some places that require a credit card and I don't want to use my debit card. So I'm just going to keep one, right? So now that's leading to, financial wellness and your thinking. And financial wellness is essentially being well in all areas of your life that require finances. Life wellness is just being well in all of your life, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, etc., right? And so then my main task was struggling with um, creating a savings plan and then creating an emergency savings fund. Again, there are opportunities. You got Susie Orman out here, you got Dave Ramsey, you got all these different YouTube channels where they try to help you understand these concepts. But it goes to your attitude about the situation and why you feel like you don't have to do that. Because if you don't save, there's the implication that you believe that you'll be able to depend on whoever it is that you feel like you can depend on. I can always move into her house, or I can always ask her, or I can always do this, or I can always go get a loan. I can always go get a payday loan, a title loan, or whatever it is that you are leaning on as a crutch. So just because you were able to solve the problem, the immediate problem, by going to get some sort of alternative solution, does not mean that you actually solve the problem. Because if you don't address your financial issues, it's going to affect your signature. That's why you have all these people who end up pushing the fraud aspect of their life because um, they were focused more on the money than they were on the signature. If you think about the current case, that resolved court case, and now she's going to prison, Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes did not cultivate her signature. She had a grand idea about the one drop and being able to do multiple medical diagnostic tests from that one drop. But she was initially a med student, pre-medical student, and then she had problems with needles, and then she moved into engineering, I think chemical engineering, and then she dropped out in the sophomore year. And so then she connected with a professor to try to get him to be an investor. And then she got multiple big name investor people that drove the valuation of the company to billion dollar status. And then she was being um, um, connected or associated with Steve Jobs and all of the other greats, but she had no learning process. She had no learning process. And a lot of times when you're pushing certain ideas, it is oftentimes based upon a money lack. There's a money lack somewhere, and you need to push some quick idea, and you're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing it until you get what you need. There's a situation with Charlie Javis, right? She is the one who claimed that she had about 4 million users for her Frank website that catered to individuals who had to complete the FAFSA, and she managed to fool JP Morgan Chase, in which they bought the company for $175 million. But she and Elizabeth Holmes were of the same mindset as many Silicon investor mindsets are: fake it till you make it. But that's not building a signature. That's not actually cultivating a signature. And the signature is you learning and becoming master. So the financial wellness, if you pursue a better financial understanding, individual, personal finance, you will less likely be inclined to pursue the fraud aspect of it, because the finances can affect the fraud and the fraud can affect the finances. But if you cultivate your signature and focusing on getting your financial house in order, you may have to work that job for a long time until you pay off all your bills and you continue to work on your signature, your work. Um, um, for a good time, you set maybe like maybe 2 to 5 year plan. You may have to do that. Whereas what people oftentimes do is jump from one thing that's not giving them money quick enough and jump to another thing that's going to give them money quick enough, but then they're sacrificing the signature. Then they are sacrificing the life assignment, they are sacrificing their reputation, etc. So this is cultivate your signature. Key number 8: pursue financial wellness.